Hello everyone, it's so great to be back with you again today. We missed not coming into your school to see you, but we are so glad that we are able to do these videos. My name is Emily and this is the rest of the team.
Hi, I'm Finn.
Hello, I'm Jack.
Hi, I'm Megan.
Today we're going to be hearing a story all about two people called David and Goliath. David was a young boy and Goliath was a very, very tall soldier. Can you think of the tallest person that you know? Well, Goliath was even taller than that. We're going to hear the exciting story of David and Goliath, but before we do that, we're going to sing a song together. Here are Megan and Jack to remind you of the actions.
Hello everybody, Jack here again. We are going to sing a song together and I have my piano here with me. We're going to sing a song called Our God is a Great Big God, and we need to learn some actions so that you can join in with the actions. So the actions go like this. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. And then we sing that again. And the verse goes, he's higher than a skyscraper and he's deeper than a submarine. How low can you go? Could you go as low as a submarine? He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me. Give yourselves the biggest hug ever since before the world began. How wonderful, do a thumbs up, to be a part of God's amazing plan, and have a dance because it is so, so happy. Are we ready?
I think we are. Let's go.
Amazing. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. He's higher than a skyscraper, and he's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. He's higher than a skyscraper, and he's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. 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 Well done, give yourselves a big clap.
Well done for joining in with the actions to that song. You all did such a great job. Well, it's now time for our story. And I wonder if you can remember the two people in our story that Emily mentioned before. What were their names? Do you remember? Well, one of them was called David and the other one was called Goliath. Did you remember that? Well, in our story, God's people, who are called the Israelites, had some pretty scary enemies. These enemies were called the Philistines, and they had a big army. And their army came to fight God's people. In the army, in the Philistine army, they had a secret weapon. They had a giant soldier called Goliath. Can you make yourself tall, big and tall like a giant? How tall can you get? Goliath was a giant soldier. He was so much bigger than everyone else. He was big and strong and so scary that no one else wanted to fight him. Every day, Goliath would come out onto the hill where the Philistine armies were. Stomp, stomp, stomp. And he would shout at God's people, "Can you make yourself big like Goliath is? Stomp, stomp, stomp. Bring me your best soldier," he would shout. "I want to fight your best soldier. If your strongest soldier defeats me, then we will become your slaves. But if I defeat him, then all of you will become our slaves." But no one moved. Goliath had challenged God's people, but everyone was too scared to fight him. They hid away from this giant, scary soldier. Ha ha ha! Goliath would laugh at God's people. Well, meanwhile, whilst all of this was happening, a young boy called David was taking food to his brothers. Now, David wasn't a soldier. He was actually just a young shepherd boy. He was taking food to his brothers. They were soldiers in God's army. Well, David heard what Goliath was saying, and when David reached the camp, he heard Goliath, and David said, "I am not afraid to fight the giant soldier." "What? This giant soldier is big and strong and so scary, and you're not scared?" Well, King Saul, who was the king of God's people, heard what David was saying, and he replied, "You can't fight Goliath. You're too young, you're too small." But David replied, "God will be with me. God will look after me." And so David was given some soldier's armour. Can you help me and pretend to put some armour on? Put a jacket on, put some boots on and a helmet. Put on the armour like David did. Well, this armour was big soldier armour, and it was too big and very, very heavy. It was too big for David. He was just a little shepherd boy, but he was given this big soldier armour with big helmet and some big boots. He really was not used to wearing this armour. And so David took it off. Can you take off your armour, take off your helmet, take off your boots, take off your big soldier jacket? And David, once he'd taken off this armour, he went to a nearby stream. And when he was at the stream, he bent down and he picked up 5 small stones. Shall we pretend to pick them up? Can we count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 small stones. And with those stones, he went and walked over to Goliath. Now remember, David is a small shepherd boy. Goliath is a big soldier. And when Goliath, the giant soldier, saw David, he laughed. He couldn't believe that this was the boy that was chosen to fight him. This was the little boy that God's people had chosen. David was so small. But David wasn't scared. He wasn't worried. He said, "I may be small, but God is great. God is with me now and he will look after me." And then David put one of the small stones in his sling and he ran towards Goliath. He swung his sling around his head, round and round and round and round, and he let go. Whee! The stone flew through the air and thud. It hit Goliath right between the eyes on his head. Goliath stopped laughing. He stumbled and he staggered, and bang! Goliath fell to the floor. When the Philistines saw that their giant soldier had been defeated, they ran away. They were really scared. David was a hero and God had saved his people. And David wasn't afraid of Goliath, even though Goliath was a big soldier and pretty scary. David knew that God would always look after him, so he didn't need to be worried or scared. And we can learn from this true Bible story that God will always look after us too. So we don't need to be worried or scared, even when we have things in our life that are really scary, just like David when he had to see the giant Goliath. We can remember that God will always look after us and we don't need to worry. Well, what an exciting story about when the little shepherd boy swung his swing and defeated the giant Goliath. And I think it's time that we sing a song. So we are going to sing a song called Bigger Than Big, which tells us about how big and great God is. And so here is Bigger Than Big.
Hello everybody, my name is Jack and we are going to sing a song together. I've got my piano here and we're going to sing a song called Bigger Than Big. So Megan is going to show you the actions. So the actions go like this. God, you made our big blue sky. You made the oceans deep and wide. God, you made the trees so tall, reach up on your tiptoes. Your love is bigger than it all. God, you're bigger than big, stronger than strong. You're mightier than mighty, and louder than this song. For that bit you need to shout really, really loud. Your love for me stretches farther than far. I can't imagine just how big you are, just how big you are. And then we sing the whole thing again. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. God, you made a big blue sky. You made the oceans deep and wide. God, you made the trees so tall. Your love is bigger than it all. God, you're bigger than big, stronger than strong. Yes, you're mightier than mighty, and louder than the song. Your love for me stretches farther than far. I just can't imagine just how big you are, just how big you are. God, you made a big blue sky. You made the oceans deep and wide. God, you made the trees so tall. Your love is bigger than it all. God, you're bigger than big, stronger than strong. Yes, you're mighty than mighty, and louder than the song. Your love for me stretches farther than far. I can't imagine just how big you are, just how big you are. Well done, everybody.
The story of David and Goliath is an amazing reminder that God will always take care of us, so we don't need to be worried or scared. To end our assembly today, I'm going to say a short prayer for us all. So if you would like to close your eyes, and so you don't get distracted. And if we agree with what I'm going to say, then say the words Amen at the end. Dear God, thank you so much for everyone here today. Thank you that we have learned from the story that you used David to save your special people, and that you will always look after us so we don't have to be worried or scared. I pray that you bless every child and every member of staff at this school. Amen. Thank you so much for having us today, and we really, really look forward to seeing you again. So have an amazing, amazing week. See you later.